From the line of Helen Martin, please go ahead.
Hi. Not a question, but I didn't want to not comment when things were quiet that it was very thorough, Mary, and as a result, I don't have any questions, having been through the process myself.
Okay.
It was very clear, and the slides were wonderful, and there's certain ones I've kept, and I just wanted to thank you very much. And you may not be having questions because you're so thorough.
Well, thank you for that, and I guess I'm always glad to know if what I've said seems sort of similar to if you've been through this process yourself is similar to what your experience was, because I know things can be different from one clinic to another, but I know that the general ideas and the general approach is going to be similar from one province to the next, or if you're from one of the bigger provinces, from one city to the next, or even one clinic down the street to the next.
If you are interested, I was originally genetically tested in 2006 following my original cancer in 2005, and since 2006, my DNA has been run 3 times. And I'm the 3rd woman in my family to have ovarian. I have a first-degree mother and a second-degree aunt, and then possibly a second aunt who died of pancreatic cancer, and therefore, we're not sure about that one. She had had a hysterectomy many years prior to that. Regardless, so my DNA was run 3 times because of that familial situation, but each time it comes back negative, but my counselor won't call it that. She's calling it inconclusive. She says there's a gene someplace in there that's causing our problems, but I am encouraged to call in, and they rerun it every year or 2 because the testing is advancing so quickly.
I think that's a really important point that you've made and I think trying to illustrate that a little bit with when that test doesn't find something, that first test in a family, we do tend to call those results uninformative or inconclusive based on what the rest of the family history looks like. You've described a family where several women have had ovarian cancer, and therefore it's hard to believe that that all happened just by chance. And it may suggest that that family history is possibly related to BRCA1 or 2, but just in a way that we can't find with current testing. It may mean that there's another gene for ovarian cancer in families that's out there that hasn't been found yet that might explain the history of cancer in your own family.
We're thinking that's probably where it is because all 3 of us were in the random age group. The youngest was 57, and my mother and I were both 61. So, it's easy to say, okay, random.
Yeah, but not when they're...
But not really.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the fact that they're not just dismissing us. However, they haven't found the key to our situation.
Right. And we always encourage people, as you suggested, those who get those uninformative results, to follow up, to check back with programs where they've had their genetic testing to find out if anything is changed, is there new testing possible, or also if there are changes to the family history that might suggest there would be another person in the family who could participate in that testing. There are some cases, like the example of Joan that I provided in the slides, where if her result didn't find anything, we probably could be more reassuring to her family that her cancer probably happened just by chance, because there isn't other family history to make us suspicious of a hereditary pattern.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Question comes from the line of Angelique Greener. Please go ahead.
Okay. My sister just applied to do the genetic counseling. Now, I'm the one that had the ovarian cancer in the type 3 of the sex cord. And you mentioned that it's very rare that that you'll see the genetic background in the... So, but there's a lot of colorectal in our family. So I see a lot of association there.
So if your sister who has not had cancer, has been referred or applied for genetic counseling where she lives, probably what will happen is then she will be asked to provide details about who in her family has had what kinds of cancer. They may ask for permission to get a copy of your pathology report to clarify the specific type of ovarian cancer that you had, and you mentioned it was in the third category on the list I gave. So then even more specifically to see what type of a sex cord tumor was it, and is it one that has any connection to any rare hereditary cancer syndrome, or is your family history more a collection of different kinds of cancer that don't fit together in a pattern? But it's a good example where, I mean, I obviously don't know what happened with your sister, but it's possible if she told her doctor that my sister had ovarian cancer, then the doctor said, oh, well, then you should be referred to a hereditary cancer clinic to talk about genetic testing. And it's not until the genetic counselor then says, well, what kind of ovarian cancer did your sister have, that the more detailed discussion can happen.
Okay. Yeah, she did fill out the Form 5 and submitted it to your office in Vancouver. So how long does it take? Like, I think that was a couple of weeks ago. So.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not too sure. I think she's a little anxious on getting tested because there's so much cancer in the family.
Sure. And, I mean, if her referral has come into our office, she will likely be hearing from me. She's certainly welcome to contact me if she has other specific questions.
All right. Okay.
I want to thank the audience members, their questions and comments. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to Mary McCollum for her presentation regarding genetics. If you would like to listen to it again, or you want to share this session with friends or colleagues, it will be available on YouTube next week. The next teleconference, which will be posted on YouTube, will be on November 9th, 2010 at noon. The topic is, What Do I Do Now? Making Decisions About Your Care, with Lynn Jolicoeur, an advanced practice nurse. The next Caring Voices session will be on November 23rd, 2010 at 8 p.m. on ovarian cancer recurrence with Dr. Christopher Guidi. Also, I would like to remind you to complete and send back your evaluation as soon as possible. Your feedback is important to us. Thank you for being part of today's session, and we hope you will participate in our next sessions. Have a nice evening.